Time for a word from our sponsors, JJ. If you need some serious security, who do you go to?
Personally, I would go when you're looking for real protection, not just a badge on a wall. Make the call to the Campbell Security Group, based right there in St. Louis. They're veteran-owned and powered by former law enforcement and military professionals, from executive protection to private air security. They got your back. Get a peace of mind when it matters most. Visit CampbellSecurityGroup.com or call 314-499-1121. Campbell Security Group, because safeguarding your world requires more than watchful eyes. It demands proven action.
We beat the streets through hard times. Seen the highs, felt the lows in the rain. Brothers and sisters with stories to tell. Heartache.
Welcome back to the Brighter Side of Blue, our worldwide podcast coming to you from Columbo's Cafe and Tavern in Dogtown, St. Louis, powered by Schicker Ford of St. Louis. It's where the stories are told, the legends are honored, sacrifices are remembered, and balls are broken. I'm Danny.
I'm Tommy.
I'm JJ.
Producer John.
Producer John in the house. Tommy, we have a pretty good true crime story tonight. What do we got?
Yeah, and they're also going to talk about a gentleman by the name of Guy Goolsby, who they did. But then they're like, well, what's the most interesting case you ever done? And then they're like, well, that one was the one, but Guy Goolsby was the other. And Scott Boyer's out there, and Scott's done some crazy police work over his years.
I didn't see Scotty Boyer walk in. What is he?
He's done some great police work over the years. And when I was sitting we were sitting around having a beer years ago, and he's the one that brought this case to my attention. He's like, "Did you hear this case they're doing? All these guys are doing." And he named Leo and a couple other guys. He goes, "It's the craziest case I've ever heard." And when Scott Boyer said that, I was like, "I'm going to look into this thing."
Can I say something about Scott real quick? He was my boss in mobile, and I okayed him to come down. He calls me. You know, he is.
You okayed him?
Yeah, well, he says, "Hey, they asked me to come in mobile. Can I?"
Mobile. I thought you meant to come down to the show.
No. Come to mobile. So he goes, "Will you care if I come down there? I just want to do your supervise your squad." I said, "Hell yeah, come on down, brother." So that's how I really got to. I knew him before that, but got to know him, and he's one of the best street policemen. He's probably going to kill us right now, but he was one of the best street officers, he's tough. He's a good dude. They were sad when he left the bikes, that's for sure.
When you start this interview tonight about the TT Jordan, why do me and JJ have to leave off the set?
Well, you
none of Mike's
in particular, you don't. This doesn't interest you. That part of police work and stuff. You can go out there and drink with your buddies.
I was a policeman for 34 years.
Close the doors when you go out there.
All right,
Commander for most of it, though.
Hey, listen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We're up to 97 million worldwide viewers. How's Vietnam doing? Jimmy Long still in Vietnam? DEA?
Actually, he is in the States right now.
Okay, is he going to swing by the show?
He comes in the 25th.
He's representing Vietnam for us, so we do have a listener in Vietnam.
Well, we don't want him to come on the show while he's here. We want him to come on the show while he's in Vietnam.
Isn't there a time difference, Tommy?
Yeah, 12 hours.
So he'd be all right. 7 in the morning there?
Yeah, I ain't doing it.
Be all right.
It is
Make him get up at 7 in the morning.
It is not happening. We have an update on the Mason Griffith, the Herman police officer that was murdered.
Some good news from New Haven, Missouri. Sergeant Mason Griffin was killed March 12th, 2023. We had Chief Neese on here and told the story. Alan Selentrop was injured severely, catastrophic injuries for him. He's still with Chris Neese in his department, whatever. But they found him guilty. The judge found him guilty today. He was found guilty on March 12th. No, he was found.
Can't read your own writing. I'm sitting there watching it.
He was found guilty a couple weeks ago, and now today he was sentenced to death. He was charged with assault, first degree.
See ya.
Yeah, murder first degree, guilty of first degree murder, assault first degree for his wounding Alan Selentrop, and then ACA and several weapons charges, but death sentence. Boom.
Remember when we were in kindergarten, you practice handwriting, and you had those big lines you keep in between and shit?
What
the hell is that over there?
Oh, okay.
Chicken scratch?
That's horrible. You flunked. There's no doubt you flunked. That is terrible.
It's all right. We got.
I was at I feel like a celebrity for like 2 minutes. I was at Costco and ran into another JJ. Jennifer and Judy came up to me in Costco and said, "You're Danny from the podcast. Is JJ with you?" I'm like, whoa, you're talking to Danny. You're talking to Danny here. And this, that.
You think we just hang out all the time?
We were hoping you were with JJ. It kind of hurt my feelings for a minute. I felt pretty good.
And who are they?
They were just two listeners. They said they'd never missed a show. They've caught up on how many shows we have? Over I don't know, a couple hundred.
Yeah.
They're up to date on it, but they were really.
I'm not
hoping-
going to ask any more
they-
questions.
They were hoping that you and I were shopping together. So.
That'd be weird.
Well, you guys did ride a motorcycle together, so it wouldn't be that.
That was just from a fuzzball or a corkball tournament or whatever. Or what is it called?
Fuzzball.
No, fuzzball. From a fuzzball tournament to the bar right down the street. It was only 3 blocks.
You're talking about your motorcycle ride?
Yes.
Yeah.
It still didn't look right.
I regret it. I do regret it.
I don't
Hey,
care
wasn't
how short it was.
First of all, he outranked me, and he said, "Hey," he had been drinking. I ain't gonna lie, and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna jump on your bike." I go, "Well, come on. We look like 2 big goose." What?
Yeah.
I would.
Six,
You guys,
8.
after that, you guys maybe should wash like a Miata together, like in the driveway. Just go out there and hand wash a Miata.
I
But
do
look
regret.
about the
I do
same.
regret it. I didn't realize the visual would be that bad.
That was funny though.
It was bad.
It was very bad. So this is our 4th show in our new studio. Our old studio's back there. We have a special guest back there, Bart Inman and his wife Amanda are in here.
Bart with a B.
Bart with a B from Inman Air. He does a lot of policemen's services, new units and this and that. So we're schmoozing his ass, try to get him on board with the brighter side of blue.
The family. We
We'll see how
want
it
him
goes.
as part of the family.
We want him part of the family, and every copper will put their use his services. So we'll see how that goes. But JJ, no, before we go in there, do you have a chiropractor recommendation?
Remember, I told you about the chiropractors. You know, that I had one for the people that believe in the moon landing. But I also found one, Johnny. If you could pull that up, I found one for people that wanted to defund the police. Mm-hmm. And Olga, I got Olga. She's more than ready to give anybody. Right, watch this. All right. Hold on.
Hold on a second.
Hold on. We'll get
We
it.
really
Ken
have to watch
Plackey
it.
from Schicker Ford St. Louis just walked
get
in the
it.
door. Ken Plackey, welcome.
We'll get it. Here we go. This is Olga for all defunders.
What is she doing?
Beating her up.
Watch this. Bam.
Knocking the snot out.
That's it. There you go.
Defund
There you
the
go.
police.
That-
Defund these nuts.
Right. And now I got one for the moon believers. This guy's the best. There he goes. He's going to check. Okay. Look to the right. Look to the left. He's going to get some shit down here.
Is this called
right.
holistic?
I don't know
Healing?
what it's called. Watch
What's he
this.
gonna do?
He gonna turn it up. Turned it up. He turned her neck up. Now, is that going to work? I don't know. Was he going to turn it down again? No, he's cranking it back up.
What the hell
He's
is going
cranking
on?
it back up. Let's check it. Oh, he turned it down.
Oh, it turned it down. It was
Turned
way
it down. Turned it down. Hold on. Is that right? Is he turn it up or down? Oh, he turned it up. There she goes. She's healed. And she's just thinking, right there, God, I love that Neil Armstrong landing on the moon.
He went to the same.
Right.
He went to the same
That's
school
enough.
JJ learned to write.
That's enough.
Oh my God, that is horrible.
That's where you and John should go, since you guys believe in the moon landing, is go to that guy and have him turn up your neck and see what happens to your back.
Hey, it can't hurt.
I'm not getting into with you about the moon anymore.
You don't touch it, so it ain't gonna
I'm
hurt.
done with
Hey,
you and the moon landing.
How about that how about our old badge that used to be on our set? It's now on the front of our
Yeah, it looks-
front of the stage right there.
Looks really good.
That thing's popping. Greg painted it and everything.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Before we get on with our main events, I have a few things I had to go over.
What do you got?
This day in history.
What happened?
This day in history is sponsored by Inman Air.
Uh-oh.
Bart Inman.
You're just taking a liberty right there. Say, all right. There it is.
Come on, let's hear it. Come on.
Bart with a B, baby.
Yeah, all right. So once again, I like to peel the onion on common day things. Sunday, this show airs on Monday.
Yes,
Sunday
sir.
is Father's Day. Mm-hmm. And we all go about our life thinking, happy Father's Day, but we don't know how it was originated. We don't know what caused the first Father's Day. And there's nobody in the audience, including Ricky Ray, that knows how the first Father's Day came about.
How did it happen?
Ricky,
He'll Google some shit. So just stay off your phone, Ricky, and listen.
he don't have a. He's got a flip phone.
Two separate incidents, unrelated, 2 years apart on opposite sides of the country, originated Father's Day. First, in 1908. In 1908, there in West Virginia, there was a mining explosion that killed 362 men and left 1,000 kids fatherless. Back in the day in the mines, they wore the headlamps that had open flame for headlamps, and it ignited a pocket of methane gas, the stuff that comes from this guy every once in a while.
Really?
And a pocket of methane gas exploded. And that in itself would not cause a massive explosion, but this mine had dust particles of coal. There's smoke, they call it something, but it's dust particles of the coal. And that lamp and the little explosion ignited that and sent a massive explosion snaking through a mile, 2 miles of mines, killing everybody instantly in the mine. So much that 10 miles away, a streetcar was knocked off its rails, people were knocked to the ground, horses were knocked to the ground, 362 men died. A couple months after that, there was a pastor in West Virginia that held a service exclusively to honor and memorialize fathers. So that was the first incident in 1908. In 1910, there was a gal in Spokane, Washington, who was sitting at in a memorial service for Mother's Day, honoring mothers. And her mother, she never knew, her mother died at birth, giving birth to her. And so she was like, there's nothing like this for fathers. And she goes, my father is, he was in the Civil War, he was a farmer, and he raised her and 5 little boys, 6 kids total. And then he got remarried and became like the Brady Bunch, 6 more kids. Now he's got 12 kids, and then she died. So he raised 12 kids on his own at a time in 1910 when that would happen, when the wives would die, they would just put the kids in an orphanage and just go on with life. They would just get rid of the kids. They wouldn't raise them. They'd have to do their farming. He kept them. So she started going around to politicians and pastors and different places and saying, we need to have a Father's Day. Well, back in that time, it wasn't cool to have a Father's Day. All the men in the 1920s and 30s said, we don't need a Father's Day. You're just trying to sell shit and have presents
Probably
and do all, and it was probably right, or whatever. It wasn't until 1971 that Tricky Dick Nixon made it law Father's Day.
71?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
from
like
1910.
that's like the Picasso thing, where Picasso died in 75. I thought that shit was back in the early 1900s.
Yeah. Well, there was a bunch of things I just didn't want to get into because JJ will fall asleep. And
I'm about to already, so.
yeah. That was the limit.
You went like 2 minutes past JJ's time
I
limit.
gauged the length of my shit by his mental capacity, and we were already way the fuck
It was
past that.
sort of interesting.
Yeah. So that's how it came. And then finally, Tricky Dick said, make it official Father's Day.
I thought Hallmark made up all holidays just so they can sell shit.
They make up some stuff.
They do.
I told my kids early on, never ever buy me a card for anything.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah.
There's no reason to. If you want to write, if you want to make it real sentimental, sit down and write it.
There goes Hallmark sponsoring
when
the show.
I have one of my
there.
favorite things I have in my desk drawer at home is a card that was made from my daughter and my son.
Yeah, handmade.
And they were little and they couldn't read the writing, but
Handmade.
they got it from me. But yeah, I
means
still have
more
that.
than going buying
Yeah, it
a
was kind
card
of-
for $7.50.
Right. They didn't
And
have
then
any money.
they come up with some wild holidays too.
What time do you think it is now, Placky?
Is it time?
Hey, Placky.
It's time for.
It's time for the Schicker. Schicker wants to know question.
All right.
You really got to put this on? Ken Placky, do I got to put this on?
Yeah, put it on.
You absolutely have to.
All right.
Is it all right?
Placky, you're going to get us better hats. These things blow.
on a
Oh,
minute.
stop it.
Hang on a second.
Here's the question.
Hold on a second. What do we got?
It says, let me put my glasses on.
Here's one of the questions from Schicker Ford of St. Louis.
It
These are sealed
shit.
questions.
perfect. It says, Tommy, this question is for Tommy.
Oh, good.
What is it like working with 3 complete douchebags?
Hey, Placky, fire whoever that employee is.
That was from Placky.
That was from Placky.
Way to go, brother.
Answer the question.
It's tough. I should have done the Karnak. I'm going to say it's tough. Question: what is it like working with 3 complete douchebags?
That was actually pretty
all right.
funny, Tommy.
Yeah. All right, what do you got?
If you could drive any classic car for a day, what would it be?
66 Thunderbird. Convertible. Producer John?
Model T.
JJ, we already know yours is the Pacer. You drive that
The
Pacer.
72 Pacer?
72 Pacer.
I did have a night.
You can
one
fit that
night.
big ass sandwich in there.
I don't even know. I'm not a car guy. I don't
I'm
really
not
care.
a real car guy either. I'm just going to go with a like an old school Mustang.
Me too.
Convertible.
Yep.
That's from
I would do a
Schicker.
convertible. I do a regular
Ford
Mustang.
of St. Louis wants to know.
They want to know, and I'll be asking the questions every week.
Oh, really? We don't get to ask?
I'll get some Karnak thing going on.
All right.
Showed some quick wit there.
Moving right along. Tommy, do you have anything we need to clean up?
Well, it's too late to mention them. Oh, the car show.
Oh, yeah.
June 27th. They're having a car show down at Schicker. Everybody go down there. I think it starts at 9 in the morning, John,
10 to
right?
3.
10 to 3. Thanks for correcting that. 10 to 3 down at Schicker. The old cars. I think they're even having motorcycles down there, too. So
Really?
head on down there on the
For
27th.
JJ and Dan,
Yep.
they can ride the motorcycle around the lot.
There you go. They can reenact the Peppers incident.
Producer John, do you have a musings at the microphone with Producer John?
What do we got?
Well, what we have is, obviously, in a few days, we're going to celebrate the 250th birthday of our country. And I thought I'd go back 100 years and see how St. Louisans celebrated 4th of July in 1926. And everything I read, there was no, and I'm sure there was like little festivals and stuff like that, but everything I read was about people blowing themselves up I'm
hoping with fireworks.
Yeah, so on July 3rd, 1926, the day before, 17 children and 2 adults were admitted to City Hospital for burns that they suffered on the the pregame part of it, and well, back then I guess it was a big deal was people take their handguns and put blanks in them and shoot them off.
Well, at least they used blanks back in the
Yeah,
day.
now they use the real thing.
Yeah, now they use ARs and just shoot them. And
Yeah, New Year's Eve is crazy.
But these people would end up accidentally shooting themselves with the blanks and get burns, So, but one guy had a small cannon and he was
Small cannon?
and he was loading it and it went off prematurely and blasted him across the room. So he was injured pretty bad. And then there's 11 children that were injured even before the 3rd. But on the 4th of July, City Hospital treated 80 people for fireworks-related injuries, some serious, and then countless other people were treated by physicians in neighborhoods and stuff. So the Globe Democrat said the city fire department celebrated the uproarious 4th by responding to 28 alarms, most of them attributed to the revelries of the day. And some of the injuries were a 13-year-old suffered facial burns when his buddy took one of those guns with the blank cartridge and put it up to his forehead and pulled the trigger.
So they had a lot of bullshit back then, too.
Yeah.
It sounds like it just today. I
At least they used blanks.
History
there was-
repeats itself.
And the worst part was there was tons of eye injuries, like serious, like permanent eye injuries, But so anyway, he got it in the forehead. An 11-year-old was struck in the leg by a stray bullet at 1700 North Jefferson.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking modern day stuff.
Yeah. And then a 12-year-old shot himself in the hand at 2018 Pestalozzi.
All right. That's the kind of stuff we do today.
So 100 years ago was the same shit as today.
Yeah. So the
Basically, with a couple blanks involved.
Yeah.
Hey, never mind.
The Globe went on to say, still the noisy celebration was much less bloody than the year before, which ended with 150 people injured and 2 dead.
Ooh.
So the city health commissioner put out, some advice ahead of time saying, if you do burn yourself on 4th of July, to dress the wounds with olive oil, linseed oil, or petroleum oil while you're waiting to be treated. And the other precautionary warnings were don't burn gunpowder, which
Solid advice.
pretty solid. Don't build bonfires just for fun.
Don't do that.
And don't light a firecracker while you're holding other firecrackers in your hand. That's pretty common sense.
That's just genius.
And he also said if you do light yourself on fire, tear off the burning articles of clothing and smother them with woolen material if you have any.
Hey, since you brought it up,
Yeah.
did anybody watch the UFC 250 at the White
I
House?
didn't
I've
watch
seen the
it.
highlights.
Yeah.
It was one of the coolest events.
Some of the cool.
I've ever-
The eagle, to me, the eagle was cool.
It was so cool. It was pretty patriot. It was neat. And you see the Kachuk brothers were there.
Yeah.
Their gold medals. It was cool.
Kim Haley's out there. She was with me when I did one of the most irresponsible things that I've ever done on the police department on the 4th of July.
Oh boy.
Is when I had to work. I worked mornings in traffic. And then I worked the afternoon at the AB tent.
Yeah.
And then, so that was secondary. And when I got done with that, that was like midnight. And then Mobile was having a party. So I thought, well, I'll just run by mobile. I ain't got to be to work till 6 in the morning. I'll just run by this mobile party. Well, I went way too long. Well, there was at that point, I was at a point in time where going home was useless. But that night at the VP Fair, when I was working the AB tent, it was raining, and then things had cleared. The rain had cleared out the fair. Well, when I was walking around, and there, the moisture and the mud got on my bottom of my pants, and so now I had to be at traffic at 6 in the morning. It's like 4 in the morning, and Kim was riding with Matt McDonough at the time, and I said my car's because I left my car at the traffic division, so I said I need to ride the traffic and mobile that was there too. Like, okay, we'll give you a ride. I go, hey, can you swing by the car wash real quick? The power car wash things. I just took my leg out and sprayed the dirt
Power
off
washed your
power
pants?
washed my leg.
Your uniform pants?
Yep, just power washed that mug, and they took me to the thing, and then I walked in, went to roll call, and the sergeant, and it was like a 6 a.m. roll call, and the sergeant walked up and goes, at least you're here. Because there was like half the people were not there. At least you're here.
You ran through the car wash.
Just went to the car wash on my way to work.
That was legendary that day because when I got to work that day, everybody, people were running up and saying, "You hear what Sawyer did last night? He took a shower at the car wash."
There we go. Let's move on.
Hey, you brought it up.
You came in on yourself. JJ, do you have a Zen that's sponsored by anybody?
It's sponsored by Prime Performance.
Yeah.
If you are struggling with weight loss, low energy, or just not performing at your best and want to rediscover your prime and take control of your health, Prime Performance has hormone optimization, medical weight loss, peptide therapy, IV wellness treatments, and more. Prime Performance will help you improve your energy, build muscle, lose weight, and simply feel like yourself again.
You nailed that, JJ.
I'm not done. Schedule your free consultation today at primeperformancestl.com, primeperformancestl.com. Mention the Brighter Side of Blue, get a discount on product and service. 2 locations, one in Fenton, Missouri, and one in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Now our Zen.
And Marzen.
JJ Zen.
What got into JJ? That was
I don't know.
perfect.
He just
Listen,
nailed that. He
quiet.
practiced.
Hey, I'm listening. I'm trying to focus here.
All right.
The line between order and chaos is often held by those willing to stand in it. My police.
And they're all out
Zen.
there. There's a bunch of them out there.
Yep.
A bunch of them out there.
Who's that from?
Me. I made that up.
All right.
more
Say it
time.
again.
The line between order and chaos is often held by those willing to stand in it.
JJ, my God.
It's a perfect way.
That is a pretty good deal.
Let's give JJ the rest of the night off.
Yeah. Means we
Thank you
gotta
all.
leave now.
Appreciate it.
Tommy, what about our communities?
Communities that support law enforcement are safer places to live.
Peace. All right.
Oh,
Now the
A word from our sponsors. Looking for a place to unwind, celebrate, or just pull up a seat with a good company and a fine cigar? Head to Riverman Cigar Company, located at 8984 Watson Road. They're not just a cigar shop. They're a premium lounge where craftsmanship meets chill. From Padron to AJ Fernandez, the humidor is stocked. The sonic humidifier with reverse osmosis keeps every stick tasting top tier. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned aficionado, they've got events, education, and a cozy spot to kick back. Call 314-843-3355 or check them out online, rivermancigar.com, where quality matters and the vibe's right.
Brighter side of blue.
All right, we are back with our guests for the day. To my far right is Joe Somoyge from the St. Louis Police Department. He's got about 30 years on. Next to him is J.D. Gaddy from the St. Charles County Police Department, and he's got about 30 years on. And to my left is Leo Rice, who's been here before. He's a return guest, and he's got
36.
36. You got to be close to the top
I'd say I'm probably in the top 10
of
15.
people left
Yeah.
with time on.
Yep.
Congratulations. Keep
Thank
plugging away. And while we're at it, you might as well just go ahead and tell a quick story about that. Leo works with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and but when he's done, he goes down and works in the park. And he had an incident yesterday in the park that was kind of interesting that made the news. What happened?
I got a call for a nude male. Got there, and he is buck naked on the park bench of Art Hill with 100 people around him, just fully exposed and pleasuring himself.
He's rubbing one out
Yes, he was
in the park.
in the park.
All right. Guys were involved in the Anthony T.T. Jordan case. And when we were prepping for the show yesterday, and the U.S. attorneys, Leo got a hold of one of the U.S. attorneys, and they respectfully said, why don't you guys wait to talk about the T.T. Jordan case since there's an appeal? But we were talking about the T.T. Jordan case, and I asked Joe, I asked everybody, was this the T.T. Jordan case, was that the most interesting case you ever worked? And Joe, right away, you said you were on the fence. And you looked at JD and you said, I don't know, Guy Goolsby was pretty close.
That was a good one.
Talk a little bit about it.
That was a beast. Yeah.
And then, and we'll get into more of it. But then when you said that, me and Leo looked at each other, and we worked the most violent offenders unit in the city. And talk a little bit about how Guy might have hit that list.
Well, at that time, you had to be a suspect in at least 3 murders to get on our list. So, Guy was a shooting fool individual.
Well, he also was the main suspect in shooting at Lieutenant Joe Spiess.
Yes, that was my caper.
And what year was that? I think it was like 2002. Does that sound right?
Around 2000.
Because Joe, you were involved too, weren't you?
Yeah, I was on SCAT at the time, but I think I was working with you guys that night. It happened on Palm or Hebert, I thought.
It happened on Palm.
Yeah, I was there.
And I had gotten information that he had a gun on him.
Was he at Spruil's that night? Was that where he was at, or?
No, we picked him up off of Grand Avenue.
Yeah.
We started following him.
Yep.
And then he caught on that people were following him, and then it was a high speed after that, and he bailed, and we're foot chasing and car chasing, and Joe, Lieutenant Spiess at the time, now captain of Brentwood.
Captain, he's the chief, dude.
No, chief, I'm sorry.
Don't be
my bad.
demoting people.
Yeah. I've been demoted enough.
Oh,
So Joe's going through a vacant lot, and he just turns around and starts firing at Joe from like 15 yards away. And then we found him. Me and Dickie Burgess found him up in a vacant building on the 2nd floor.
I believe he beat those charges, if I'm not mistaken, or if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
I don't think so.
But then when you guys mentioned him, and I'll give another quick story, is that the MVOP is, there was a, and we were following, we were trying to just, in the MVOP, what they do is give us a list of the worst individuals. Joe was involved, Leo was involved. You weren't not with us at the time because it was 2002. You were probably
We don't
still
have that in St. Charles.
Right. Thanks for pointing that out. But anyway, so we had this guy Goolsby was on the list, and of people we'd pay attention to. So and a lot of these people you set up surveillance, see if they were up to anything. And Leo and I got information that he was in, I think it was North County somewhere, right?
Yes.
Apartment complex.
Yep.
So he comes out, and we jump out on him, see what he's up to. And we got him handcuffed, and he's sitting on the curb, and we got all of our, and at the time, there was a whole bunch of articles and newscasts that the MVOP had been disbanded, and there was no one. But Joe Spiess said, no, and Jack Riley got together and said, no, we ain't disbanding it. We'll just put more people in it from the places that didn't get transferred. So we get him, and he's sitting on the curb, and he's got his hands behind his back, and he looks at me and Leo, and he looks up, and he says, I thought you motherfuckers were disbanded. Nope, not today, Guy. But Joe, we'll start with you. How do you get into Guy Goolsby? What happens?
Just dumb luck. Normally you start drug cases out like we start down here and you work your way up. Well, we started this case from the top and worked our way down. So we got information on a guy, an older black male, drives from Houston to St. Louis. We knew what kind of vehicle he was in, and we knew he had a trap in that car, and we knew his telephone number. And the master writer over here, we were able to write an affidavit and maybe monitor this fella. And it was a Sunday afternoon that he left Houston, and we started getting, we're receiving information on our cell phones. We can track him. And we can see, rather than drive up 55, he drives from Houston through Dallas right down 44. So we all go out. It's a Sunday night. Leo and Pearl were with us, and he was driving a utility truck with all these tools. He was actually wearing a hard hat and like an orange vest. And we don't know who this guy is. I mean, we know who he is, but we don't know who he's dealing with here in St. Louis or whatnot. So we pick him up in Springfield, Missouri, and follow him all the way in to 270 and Bell Fountain. and he goes to a house off of Larimore. And it's a nice brick home, and it's got a big wrought iron gate. And then he pulls up. It's one of those automatic wrought iron. So he's got the remote control, and he pulls into a 2-story garage. And then 20 minutes later, 2 cars pull up. And then 20 minutes after that, those same 2 cars leave, and they go 100 miles an hour in every direction. And I'll never forget, I was able to get the license plate of a Jeep SRT8, and it was Guy Goolsby. And he was driving 100 miles an hour down Highway 367. And comes to find out, they brought 50 kilos of coke up. And he and another guy by the name of Grant Barry are the ones who showed up, and they each took probably 25 keys and went in their separate direction. And at that point in time, we knew that, well, dope's out, money's coming. So we started 24-hour surveillance on that truck at that house for 7 days.
And then what kind of information were you guys getting out
Yeah.
of that surveillance, JD?
So we would sit and mainly watch the stash house, but we would also see cars occasionally show up and would go in and then leave. And then so we found Cadillac Escalade pulls up, out-of-state plates, rental car, pulls up, stays for a very short time period, and then leaves, occupied 2 times, goes down to a loft down in the city on Washington Ave. So we were able to identify the renter on that, and that ended up being a gentleman by the name of Dodd.
And his uncle was the driver of the trap car.
Correct.
Okay, so now there's a little family
There's
relation
some
going
type of
on.
link.
Right.
There's a link. So as Joe was saying, we sat up on it for a week, 24 hours. We sat on this, and we noticed at one time that we were monitoring that trap or courier's phone go back down to Dallas or Houston. So we're like, well, what the hell? So we stay on it. We're not giving up. So eventually on St. Patty's Day, 2018, that gets on a plane, flies back. They pick them up. They take them to the stash house. And sure enough, eventually, the truck starts coming out.
So the courier drives back in, and now you got the courier back in St. Louis. He goes to the house you guys been watching, and okay, go ahead.
Yep. So we follow that utility truck down 44 eastbound or westbound to Rolla, and we have a traffic stop. Carmelo, I'm sure everybody knows.
Carmelo,
He's a legend.
legendary. Even all the drug dealers know Carmelo right outside of Rolla.
Find the trap and locate within the utility bed $1.3 million.
So that's where you start.
That's our
That's
first
where
hit.
we start.
So you've been on this whole case for
7 days.
7 days. You hit $1.3 million.
On St. Patty's Day.
And you got no dope at this time.
0.
Obviously, you know what's going on. Obviously, from what you've seen, you've got the $1.3 million. You've got the plate of Guy Goolsby. And then you start putting things together. What happens from there, Joe?
It developed. I mean, we identified the guy from Houston, major player. Obviously, Houston's that's a hub. So, and we did some pretty cool things in that case, things that, you don't get to do often. Again, we got the master writer here. We did what was called a black bag. So we identified this guy lived in a loft at 12th and Washington. It was beautiful, massive loft. We were able to break into it with search warrants, get a layout of it, and then we broke
So when
it.
you say break into it, did you do a secret search warrant?
We like a sneak and peek,
Right.
to get the layout of it with like tech guys.
Okay.
And then we did a second search warrant. It's called a black bag, to where we installed cameras, and cameras were installed in the ducking, the duct work.
Okay.
To where that we could, when these guys would come into town, I mean, they were only coming to St. Louis to sell drugs. I mean, this guy was a major player. So we installed cameras in this loft. And when they would come into St. Louis, we would be able to see them. We got Guy Goolsby carrying a trash bag of money, literally a white trash bag, and it's filled with money. That was at point of that 1.3 million that we hit. It literally was a trash bag full of money carrying to that loft.
So you guys broke off from the one house, and now you're doing the loft too, because you follow people back to the loft.
Yeah,
correct?
that's where he stays. When
had
he
a-
would come to St. Louis, he'd stay
We
at the
set
loft.
up cameras on the stash house, and we were able to develop a pattern. So whenever the Houston guys would show up in They would for some reason they would always meet up at the Hooters on Clark or
On Chestnut.
Chestnut.
Yeah.
Every time. So we were able to pick up that pattern, and every time that happens, we'd set up, watch it, and then all of a sudden, usually, sometimes there'd be a Hispanic male would show up, or we would just follow them around. So several times this happened. One particular occurrence, we follow them to Hazelwood. We see a Hispanic male pick up a car and
Yeah.
travel around for about 8 hours, and then eventually grab a bag out of another car, and it ended up having being 25 kilos.
And you stop it?
Stop it.
That
We
was
see
our
that.
stops
second.
it?
Yeah.
We
We
just
did.
jump out and grab them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you get 20.
He's directly so.
Who was that
backstory?
person?
A little backstory. Because of the money got hit, Mexico was concerned about St. Louis. So they sent up their representatives from Mexico to oversee the drug transaction that was current. This guy came directly from Mexico that day and flew up to St. Louis just to oversee this drug case or drug transaction. So we took him off. He gets indicted, complaining because he's illegal, and he pleads guilty.
Damn illegal.
So about a week later, or a couple weeks later, we see the same pattern. They meet up at the Hooters.
Yeah.
We actually have undercovers inside at the time, and sure enough, here comes a car. SUV pulls up, and the main Houston target goes out, meets with them, and they have a little conversation, and then drives off, goes to a hotel in Bridgeton, and we separate. We're keeping constant surveillance. That's about the time we got up on the cameras in the loft. So we have cameras in the loft. I remember coming home one night at 1 o'clock in the morning and just happened to turn on the cameras, and I see Dodd, the main guy, and his right-hand partner, who was like an ex-NBA
He was
guy.
the next professional basketball player.
He's counting money on the counter, a big old bag. So I immediately alerted everybody and said, something's
Time to
happening.
go back?
So Eric, everybody jumped on the courier vehicle in Bridgeton, and we follow it down to Oklahoma
The Turnpike.
Turnpike.
Here we go again with the turnpike.
Where the
We get-
McDonald's is that crosses the highway. Yeah.
We get
Now you start naming landmarks like I know.
we get Oklahoma to stop it, and sure enough, we get $380,000 in what
I think
three or
three-
four bad kilos of fentanyl or heroin.
Okay, but when you say bad, it was fentanyl instead of heroin?
It wasn't their purity level.
Okay. So now there's a couple, as this thing goes, and we'll get to, I guess, maybe not the end, but you guys also learn of some murders. Talk about the murders, Joe.
Wow, this case was huge. I mean, yeah. So we indict a bunch of people, and while indicting, one of the people they were all on federal supervised release. That's how these guys all met. The Mexican fentanyl distributor, our heroin guy, Guy Goolsby, Grant Berry, David Faustin, and then our guy Dodd. They were all in the same prison in Colorado together. That's how they all met.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Who's the main guy?
Dodd.
Dodd's the main guy
Well,
here.
he's the main guy that's in Houston, but he's got all the connects.
He's orchestrating the dumps and
Yes.
everything, and then he tells Guy Goolsby and whoever else, go get your dope
He's the
here.
middleman from Houston, or from the source to Houston to St. Louis.
And he's living in Texas at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Houston. Yeah.
And then he would tell, like I said, Guy Goolsby and whoever else, to go get the dope and wherever.
Well, yeah, he would have his couriers bring it up, and they'd bring up 50 keys like twice a week or twice a month, and Guy Goolsby and David Faustin, and they would take their cut.
The house they went to with the gates, with the remote control, did they keep using that after you guys
Yes.
picked off the 1.3?
That was in Dodd's name.
Yeah.
We were able to link that up to Dodd himself.
So then they keep even though the 1.3 and everybody gets a little, or at least the Mexicans get suspicious, they're still keeping their same.
Yeah.
They're not linking it to St. Louis
Everything.
at all.
Everybody's a little suspicious at that point. We've already taken off two
we
good
picked up-
licks or whatever. And I think it came to a point where we're just going to approach the source, or whatever. So we knew a load came in off of cameras, and Dodd had left the stash house. He had actually met with another main distributor in St. Louis, Barry. Mm-hmm. He leaves. He's going down Broadway, and when we have his traffic stop. Stopped it, approach him, put him in handcuffs, and basically tell him the gig's off. You're going to have to.
And that's Dodd. This is Dodd you're talking
That's
about
the
now?
main
guy.
Houston guy.
Okay.
And he agrees to cooperate, and he says there's 10 keys of fentanyl or heroin and a washer dryer in that garage right now. So we go up, sees that. He said also the main source of supply is here in St. Louis. So that's when it starts the overnight surveillance.
Again.
So we have, not only are we having Dodd shoot recorded phone calls to the source who's in a hotel in St. Louis, we're also, we're going to dirty up the guys here in St. Louis. So we start shooting recorded phone calls to Guy Goolsby about the dope. So we do that, and then finally the next morning, the main drug supplier for heroin or fentanyl, who's from Fort Lauderdale, David Martinez, him and his wife come out. We take him down. He cooperates, gives up everything, says he's working with the cartels and everything.
Against our better judgment, we were sitting there. We actually had,
I thought
his wife was the source. His wife is from Colombia. Her family is the cartel. She allowed him to talk. That was in.
When you say she allowed him to talk,
she asked us, "Can you give
bit.
us a second?" And we could overhear her telling her husband, "This is what you're going to tell him. This is, yeah." Her family was the source. Yeah. She was from Colombia.
Wow.
He was in the systems. He had been popped his previous case with 1,500 pounds in a boat. That's how
1,500 pounds of weed.
Coke.
Okay.
Coke. That was his first.
I equivalent
his
pounds
first
with
DEA.
weed.
Yeah, his first DEA case was 1,500 pounds of coke. They've got in a boat, and
that was he considered a courier or
he's
just a middleman?
leader of an organization
Yeah.
in the United States sectors.
But Joe, I'll go back to I kind of interrupted you with you guys uncovered a couple murders that went on in this case.
Yeah, that case
Talk a
had
little bit
developed
about
into a few more. We ended up one of the guys involved in the case, one of the main guys here, David Faustin, his son owned a restaurant here on Lindell. It was a really good, I'd never been there, but it was a seafood restaurant that was pretty, a lot of well-to-do people would go.
Nick Zos's restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or
right.
his office.
And they ended up kidnapping his son and
Kidnapping whose son?
David Faustin's son.
Who kidnapped him?
A guy by the name of LaRon Harris. LaRon Harris is no longer with us. He ended up going to prison for murder and died in prison. But he gave up 5 or 6 murders in the city where he admitted to us that he executed a bunch of people relative to some drugs being stolen.
So you guys also, I mean, as we talked about earlier, you guys were involved in the TT case. So this is nothing to you guys. This is just normal business.
Yeah, just got lucky,
Right.
These guys only come around so often. We got lucky with this one.
But what I wanted to talk about, Leo, is you're involved in this case too. How are you out there all the time with these? I mean, these guys are doing 20. How many people are involved in a case like this?
What do we have about at least 12, 16
Yeah,
people?
we had probably 8 people in our group, and then you got Pearl and
But
Leo.
you have the main guys that are out there 24/7 doing our thing, 16 hours a day, and then you get the phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning. Womp womp, let's go.
Right. And JD, you talked about 2 different times you guys had to do 24-hour surveillance.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that, and we're all policemen from a jurisdiction or from St. Charles in the city, and people that watch us do our job and they see us, we have a lot of latitude in what we do. But I've always told people, I said, yeah, we do get a lot of freedom here and there, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. And a case like this, I mean, you guys so everybody knows there's a set amount of overtime that we get as task force officers. It's not you get to put in for overtime every single time you work.
Once it's over.
Yeah, when you get when I was there, we got $17,400 extra on our paycheck. Yeah. You put it in any way you want.
Right.
I don't know how you guys do it now, but that's as much as you can get. You can't put in for department overtime on top of that. So, again, when you guys do these 24 hours at a pop, a lot of this is you're doing it for damn near free.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yes.
I've always said it's worth it. And then So this guy Goolsby, when you get him, what's he say?
He took it. He took it.
And then
Yeah, I mean, we indicted a lot of people in this case, a lot of violence, but he took it.
I think how many indictments? I believe 14 indictments. In the,
Well,
in the
just
Eastern
in
District of
his,
Missouri.
then we flipped to that
Then
case
we-
to another case and
did
indicted
s-
another 15 people.
Yeah, we did several superseding indictments.
Yeah,
after
we went
that.
from his phone on to another.
How many years did he get? You remember? He pled
I want to say,
approximately.
15.
I think so, 15-ish.
And then there was, like I said, there was 14 people indicted, but there was, I believe, close to $3 million in assets
least.
seized.
At least.
You know, you guys talked about 1.8 million or
Yeah.
1.7 that you seized,
Yeah.
but and just in cash. And there was, how many people from St. Louis do you think were involved in that when you guys indicted?
At the very end, it was majority of St. Louis people.
Yeah.
It was just a few outside people like David Martinez, who is a fugitive now.
He's over there in Mexico.
He's in
chilling.
Tijuana.
He's not coming back.
Right.
Oh, if he does, he's going to
And
prison.
they're just and we actually, it was majority of St. Louis people.
Is his wife over there with him too?
We're not sure.
No, she's in
Wait.
she's in Tampa.
Yeah.
Did she get indicted?
No.
No.
Did you guys have a soft spot in your heart? 'Cause she
Long-
told-
No, yeah,
Long
a
story.
lot of arguments with the U.S.
Long
attorney
story.
on that one, but we love him. We love
We
him.
love the U.S.
story.
attorneys, but there is arguments at times.
Yeah, we've had some battles with him. Over
That's
that.
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Not everybody agrees on anything, but is there anything else from that case that you guys that just really comes to mind that you're like that was kind of other than what you've talked about?
No, I don't think so. But,
Well, the Whitfield thing.
oh,
obviously.
well, yeah, they murdered our informant.
Okay,
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember me and Leo had
It
a
was-
case.
Yeah.
Where-
That was a big one.
It
That
was
was a big
Guy,
one.
Guy Goolsby's uncle. Who
Okay.
was basically held all the drugs for Guy Goolsby, and then
He got indicted.
City guy.
Yeah,
City guy.
Adam Feeman got awesome stud policeman.
Out in the Sunset Hills now.
Yep, he did. He
Candyland?
did a state search warrant on this gentleman's house, and ended up getting him with a kilo, if not a couple kilos. And we right away I seen that, and we were like, hey, we know that he's a stash house for Guy Goolsby, so we ended up kind of adopting that case.
Okay.
And then he ended up getting murdered, and it was Guy Goolsby's uncle. I think yeah.
Well, Leo and I had a case. I was up there real up north, and we got a guy, and we used an informant, obviously, for the search warrant. We do the search warrant, and it was 2 days later. The informant on the search warrant was killed like 5 houses down in the alley. I mean, Leo, we're talking, and we're like, what do we do? We got to tell the U.S. attorneys, because, and then usually they don't make you come up with your informant, because it's confidential and whatnot. We're like, we got to tell them.
Yeah.
And we went down there and like, hey, man, the informant is dead. That's nothing we can tell you. I mean, because I know how everyone, like I said, every once in a while they'll say, we need to talk to your informant.
Yeah, this guy actually, I mean, when I say cooperated, he came in under a letter of proffer. He was indicted, but he cooperated, and he didn't really tell us anything we didn't know. But the fact of the matter, he was an older guy, and they gave him a bond. So I think Guy Goolsby thought, hey, he's snitching on me, and he had one of his people kill him.
Did he get indicted for that?
He did not.
Okay.
But we got the guy who did it. Went to trial on him, and he got
Yes.
convicted.
Okay. And he didn't
Yeah.
he didn't dime out Guy?
No.
But that's just your guys' thought.
That's what we believe, at least.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. We'll just-
That's our thought.
We'll throw that in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but Leo, the Guy Goolsby, and we just talked about it earlier when we were talking about T.T. Jordan.
Ricochet.
What was his name?
Ricochet.
Ricochet or Shay.
Shay.
Why is that? Did anybody find
His
out?
nickname.
All right, but Leo he was the antithesis of T.T. Jordan in the fact that none of us had heard of T.T. Jordan until he came up on the radar screen during an investigation, which rarely happens. Everybody, hey, you know so and so.
Yeah.
Somebody you know so and so.
Right.
Guy Goolsby, on the other hand, he was one of you. I mean, you always used to talk about him like this dude ain't no.
I did
this
because
dude
when you have the informants on the street in 4th and 5th district at the time, and they're telling you about Ricochet, they start telling you stuff. He was a bad dude, but what's really satisfying at the end of it, when all the cases are done and everybody goes in, and you get your people on the street that are calling you, oh man, you should hear this, and they're telling you the repercussions of what's happened after everybody gets indicted,
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
Well, the other thing I want to say is that informants in this, and informants in all of our cases, and I always heard one of the prisoners has always said there's two kinds of prisoners. The ones that cooperated and the ones that wish they did.
Wish they did.
Because the ones that are cooperated are about to get out, and the ones that didn't, they're just sitting back and just
Right.
doing time. And
Yep.
and you talked about that one informant in the TT case. He said, "You'll be back here in 6 months, I guarantee you." He was wrong. It took him 8 months, but he was back ready to cooperate.
Yep.
But there's a technique to handling these informants that I think you guys are all really good at, and I never really had that.
Makes a good investigator.
Right.
Is if you got a good CS or informant or whatever. You
in
don't have a good
our
CS or
business.
informant.
In our business, if you do not have a good informant, you ain't
making a arrest.
Nope.
you're just not going to make it.
Right. Not
you
making
know.
cases.
And I think Joe, you said that during the TT cases that anytime they wanted dope bought, is you had a guy that could go on any block anywhere and buy dope.
Right. Yeah, he was just. I signed him up. I think in 1999 when I was in the 7th district. And,
Is he still working for you?
I still talk to him. I don't have him documented anymore, but I still, I deal with his problems.
He
You know
wasn't worth-
when they call you, they only call you when they got problems.
He wasn't worth the paperwork anymore.
Yeah,
You're like, I got to cut
not
this guy
anymore.
loose.
Yeah, but but solid.
Does he still call you?
Oh, I just talked to him the other day.
And you guys are almost
I've been
friends now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 26 years with this guy.
Well, then you were telling earlier that you had another informant, and I believe she's a female,
Oh,
that tends to call you at the weirdest hours of the time and
yeah.
wants shit
I
done.
think all three of us have dealt with the same female.
Oh, she calls somebody that wants to do shit,
Yeah,
and then each call she makes, she adds something.
Yeah,
This guy's got a kilo. I ain't coming out. And then she calls JD. This guy's got a kilo and 3 pistols.
Yeah, that's right.
And then she calls Leo. This guy's got 6 kilos and 13 pistols.
Or they're in a bad situation.
And then you guys, it's Friday night at 9, and everybody's like, nah,
Yeah.
I ain't done.
Call me Monday.
Exactly. But once again, I want to really appreciate you guys coming on and telling these stories, and I want to have all of you back on again because I know we only got into a couple of cases you worked. Leo's been on 2 times before, so you guys need to catch up to him and talk about some of these cases, and we can get Lanham on. Hopefully, we can get some U.S. attorneys on. They're pretty skittish about coming on.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having us.
Thank you, Tommy.
We got more.
I really appreciate it. All right, communities that support law enforcement are safer places to live. Peace.
Thanks.
You guys are awesome.